Yay! Pop in, say hi, let me know where you're from. If you've never hung out with us before on a Sunday night, I hope you enjoy the conversation. It's always a surprise, it's always different, it's always a little mixture of everything. And it's a bunch of people who've been just kind of hanging out and moving forward in our lives, just keeping each other company. And Sunday nights is just a day for us to connect. Oh, Owen and Andrew are both here. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Owen. These are two of my top moderators. They show up every Sunday, and as you can see, they pop in and they give me those thumbs up right away. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, Bridget Size is in there. How's it going, dear? How's it been going with you? I haven't seen you in here in the past couple of weeks, so I hope everything's been going good. I hear the hospitals are getting pretty busy right now. So I hope you're keeping your emotional well-being going really, really well, and everything is going well for you and yours. For anybody who is a Canadian who pops into my lives, give me a little Canadian flag, and even if your heart is Canadian, give me a Canadian flag that way, and just tag the American flag right next to it. But today is Thanksgiving, so if you want to add a little turkey emoji, you could do that too. But hey, happy Thanksgiving to Canadians out there. It's a little bit better this year than it was in the past couple of years. So it is wonderful that families can get together. Hopefully, everybody is still staying safe, right? Because we are having a bit of a hit right now with the coronaviruses increasing in numbers again. So, but this is going to be an ongoing thing. I know in some countries they've already designated it as just a natural flu, right? They're just going to be treating it like a natural flu going forward, right? So yeah, it is wonderful that we have a little bit of a Thanksgiving this year. I didn't celebrate. Usually, my sister puts on a big family turkey dinner. Right? She had a little bit of a health issue this year. Even with the coronavirus, I know if she physically could have managed it, she would have for sure put a Thanksgiving on. It's her thing. She loves the holidays, and the family really hasn't gotten together too much in the past couple of years. I think the last get together we had was our my great niece's first birthday this past summer, this past spring, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun, and it was so nice to get together with my family. But we change, right? This experience has changed us. A lot of us, we don't recognize it because a lot of us are still thinking that we're just going to go back to the way things are. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'd love to know how you guys feel about it, but I don't feel that we're going back to the way things used to be. I'm taking note of the pricing in the grocery stores. Number one, I don't know about you guys, but there has been a big increase in the pricing on everyday items at the grocery store. Now, they still throw in the sales and stuff, but it's not enough to cover up some of those items that you used to be able to get fairly inexpensively. And now you can see that it's the way it's being distributed and the way it's being marketed and priced out and the sales and stuff, that it really is getting pretty pricey out there, and wages are not reflecting these kind of increases in food pricing. So I hope a lot of you are paying attention to these things in the grocery store, because these are I admire some of these cultures and some of these nationalities out there that actually still instill etiquette. And when I say etiquette, I'm talking about a little bit of family science a little. Is that what we called it when we were in high school? I can't remember. I wasn't very good at it. Family studies, right? Where they actually help you to try and be a good parent or a good wife or a good husband, good cook, right? Good cook too. But these are things for my generation, right? That we had. But I think that in some aspects we still need a little bit of that in our lives. I think I'm putting dinner in my oven right now. I put in a little meatloaf into my oven, and I can't remember the last time I made a meatloaf. I can't remember. With just me, I don't go out of my way for myself, and we should, because so many of us now are on our own. We're not a family of six anymore. Quite often we are. The nest is empty. Maybe we're divorced. Maybe we never married at all. And we're some of these things that we used to enjoy as a family. We're not doing, and we don't really notice that maybe we miss it, or maybe it was a good idea until I actually tried it. My sister. The only reason I had that idea is because I went upstairs to my sister, and she had a turkey in the oven. She was going out to celebrate with her friends and everything for Thanksgiving. And here I was just cleaning my house and doing projects around the house, trying to unwind and relax, not giving any thought. I did send my sisters a really nice email just to let them know how grateful I am of them. It is Thanksgiving, so we should be thankful, right? And so I thought it was proper that I send a message. And she wasn't celebrating today, so I knew that was probably going to be a little bit sad for her too. But she needs this time to still recuperate. Maybe next year it will be a little bit better. But we just adapt, we conquer, right? And it is what it is. And we just still, it's still a holiday, right? It's still a moment to be grateful for what we do have. And I'm grateful for my beautiful little apartment that I can afford. Today you would have laughed at me today, because I had my actual floor mop outside in this high rise. I was trying to clean the exterior of my window because it was such a rainy, dreary day. I thought it was a good day because the rain could help rinse off the suds and everything. Because I thought, well, before it freezes, it would be nice if I clean the window, because I could sit here. I do have a big picture window, very grateful, and that I could sit here, but just to enjoy watching the snow fall from the sky and hitting the ground, and just see. I love winter. I love looking at it. I love walking in it. I actually love walking in wintertime just as much, maybe even more, when I'm in the city. When it's summertime, I'll want to be outside the city. I want to be in the brush and stuff. But if I have to be in the city, I love being outside in the snow when it's really, really cold. I got a good pair of snow pants. I got great winter jackets. And yeah. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Andrew. Who else popped in here? I saw that Bridget Size, Andrew, and Owen, they were all in here right away. Malvin's here. Hi, Malvin, dear. You used to call what health class, Malvin? What did you used to call health class? I missed that. But yeah, it is. I don't know if it's in reference to the pricing at the grocery store because I have an issue, right? And I notice right away, and I don't understand why people aren't talking about it, noticing these things. To me, that's a telltale sign that we're going into something not good, because if they're doing it and nobody's talking about it, it gives them permission to make another move, to maybe tag another 50 cent or dollar onto the tag. That one we will grumble about, but we won't even take to mind that just recently they hiked the price without us even noticing it. But I noticed right away. My Dole pineapple that I could just get whenever I wanted. Now it's like Now it's like an Easter egg hunt every time I want a can of pineapple. If I'm going to eat pineapple, I like, there are certain brands, right? Like my ketchup, I don't care if it's no name brand, but some people are very particular that it has to be Heinz ketchup, right? My mustard, I like French's mustard. I really think they take an amazing mustard. But you know what? I'm good with any kind of mustard, no name brand, what have you. I like mustard no matter what. I prefer the relish mustard. You know, the mustard and the relish that they mix together. I prefer that one, but I don't know what. Oh, because I was talking about groceries and the pricing. Yeah, I guess it was because I was trying to make my money stretch today. I still have another week to go before payday, so I guess I kind of trying to stretch that money out. I don't know if I did a good job. I got a great big package of hamburger. That's why I'm making a little meatloaf now. I made the rest into hamburger patties and I froze them so that, I got hamburgers for the rest of the week. I don't even know why I'm telling you my groceries. And really, and let you know. But this is coming off of my holidays too. And I expected this coming off my holidays and this payday coming up, right? It's just a little bit of the staff charges, and actually my staff charge. What am I talking about this too? I have a few staff charges. I picked up a few nice things from work, and so I have to pay for those. And I have my house bills to pay this month, and then it's not a big check, and but I'll be back on track. I'll be caught up with my bills and back from holidays and no worse for wear, no more in debt than when I went on this holiday. It was absolutely amazing. And already I've been thinking of moments from when I was on my trip, and I was thinking, what kind of video can I upload tomorrow? I have a couple of short ones and stuff from little places that were there, but I was sitting on a bench and I had the sun behind me, and in one eye looked like Jesus. I'm all glowing. I'm all glowing and stuff as I'm talking to the camera, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, Cindy, you gotta remember the sun and the light has to be in front of you, not behind you. I was just like a silhouette with a beam of light all around me. I just laughed, but the message was good, right? The message was good. So I may upload that tomorrow. I may upload two videos tomorrow. They were two short videos. I may upload them both because I want to go on to something else. I went bottle hunting and I got another bottle for my collection, but I wanted to take my followers over to do some bottle digging this weekend. But because of all the rain, well, it's not going to happen this weekend. But I'm okay with that, right? That's just the universe saying, Cindy, slow down, relax, right? Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to do. But I'm still getting lots done. I was actually going to do my live show in my pajamas today. That's how tired I was. I got up this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. I just went to work right away. I just started. I guess I was excited for my days off and stuff too, right? I challenged myself this week, and I didn't say anything to anybody, and I said I couldn't for a week. But last Saturday, it happens about once a year or once every couple of years. It's over the silliest things too. I'll bend down and I'll pick something up and I'll put my back out, but I'll put my back out for a couple of weeks, and it's really, really, it's it's achy. It's always achy. But if you move in a certain way, it's like a shock of electricity running through you, and it always takes you by surprise. And it's that's not fun. Those little electrical currents at the bottom of the screen. That's not fun. But last Saturday, yeah, I just bent down to pick up the tape. I dropped the tape on the floor. I bent down to pick it up, and when I got up, there was a little pop. It wasn't painful or anything, but I knew right away because I know the feeling that happens right before I get that back issue. So yeah, so I challenged myself because I figured it was the universe trying to teach me a lesson of, can I appreciate that people are not always nice when they're not feeling good. So I challenged myself this week not to grumble, not to complain, not to move around like an old lady, not to do my fair share of the work, and see if I could get through the week without anybody noticing. But I did tell one of the ladies, only because we bounce off each other quite a bit. She's empathic too, and she's been following my journey, and because we work together and everything, we have conversations, and I absolutely love her to death. But I told her what I was going to do to challenge myself. I says, but I'm not going to complain. I'm just telling you right now because I thought maybe at the end of the week when I come back, or at the end of the 2 weeks, however long it takes to get better, that we can have a conversation and you can let me know how I did. Like if you was pleasant to be around, if I did my fair share of the work and that kind of stuff. And I made it all the way through Saturday. And by the end of my week, and it was a short week too, by the end of my week, I was just done. I was done with the week. And I just before I left the store, I just told my assistant manager, I think he's a coworker. I told one of my coworkers, he works in the office too. I just consider him as assistant manager, but I just said, I worked all week and I'm just bagged. And last Saturday, I really hurt myself really bad at work. And it's got nothing to do with work because no matter where I was, it would have happened. Because the last two times before that, it was just bending down and picking up a bar of soap out of the shower that my back went. But it only happens once a year or once every 2 years, like I said. And and he says, "Oh, Cindy," he says, "that's really strange that you said that because he talked about his spleen and an operation that he had. I won't go into the details of it." He says, "But I did the exact same thing. I never said anything either." And I said, "You never said anything. I never heard one word out of your mouth." I couldn't believe it. He never said anything. And he worked very hard, and he has a much harder job than I do because he has to haul all the donations into the store and everything. Give me great amount of admiration for him. Sometimes we sit on our boo-boos, and you know what, it's really quite considerate, I think. And maybe that was the lesson because I was very pleasant to anybody. It didn't affect me. I'm not somebody who takes my issues out on other people. But I did take note, and I did have a little bit of admiration for my assistant manager, that he didn't say anything. And I did take note that sometimes, people don't need to know if we're suffering, right? Because all you're going to do is, if they've got work to do, they're going to worry about you, or they're not going to do the job that they're supposed to do because they're paying too much mind to you. Or they may think you're just grumbling and complaining and you're a hypochondriac. They may think that, right? So yeah, I could see how lots of people, they just kind of suck it up, right? Sometimes when they oh, William's here too. Awesome. Hi, Norm. Awesome. Everybody popping in today. Nice to see you, William. Nice to see you in here, dear. Yeah, so it had some lessons in it, but nothing life changing or anything like that. It was just a challenge I gave to myself. I just figured that it was having that sore back because I made an issue with one of my coworkers because they were snapping at me constantly. They weren't feeling good, and I understood that they weren't feeling good, but they kept battering on me, right? Every time making little snippy snide remarks and stuff. And I finally said, if they do it again, I'm going to have to say something to them because I can't let people do that to me. That puts me in a weak spot, that right? And that gives that person permission to do it to somebody else. So I said, right, we got to talk about this, and this has got to come to an end, or we could go talk to somebody. Yeah. And yeah, it never really got resolved. She knows where I stand right now, right? But sometimes we have to stick up for ourselves like that. Otherwise, people just think that they can just keep doing that. And if they're doing it to you, they're doing it to other people and just not realizing that they're doing it. It just needed to be brought to their attention. I'm sure they're paying attention to themselves now. But it's still at the same time, we're all adults, right? We're all adults. And my whole brand is to understand that it takes all kinds to make the world. And though I am willing to turn the cheek on occasion to some things, that's just the way I was brought up. But when something is consistently being done and consistently, you know, maybe with not intention, it wasn't intentional, but it still had to be bring to light just for the reason of how it affected me emotionally, right? Because it did trigger me. I know my triggers. I know what will get me going. I know that for sure. And if I get triggered like that, I know it's something that needs to be explored a little bit more. So I thought God was giving me a lesson after I talked to this girl because it happened the very next day that and it was her back too that's bothering her. So I just figured, my back is hurting me, and that's because God's trying to make a point to me. So I said, okay, Cindy, you're not going to grumble, you're not going to complain, you're not going to be saying nasty things. You're just going to be really present, and people aren't even going to know you're not feeling good. And I got through the whole week. I beat the challenge. I rocked the challenge. But what was the point? There really wasn't any point because I'm thinking of my boss there who said he did the exact same thing, right? And if I had known that, I would have helped them a little bit more with bringing their donations in. Maybe I would have baked them something or helped them, fatten them up a little bit more or something to get them a better healthy state, right? Because he did come through an ordeal. Lots of us have gone through ordeals in the past couple of years. Some of us are right in the midst of those ordeals right now, right? Lots of us probably struggling with a lot of decisions to make, a lot of choices to make, a lot of movement to make, but they don't want to make the move. So they're kind of procrastinating on it and say, oh, we'll do it in the spring or we'll do it in the winter, right? Do it another time. Oh, no worries. I wasn't complaining. I wasn't complaining in the least, Owen. But yeah, it was just interesting. I just wanted to see, and it made no difference. I got through the whole week being pleasant to everybody throughout the entire week. I did get the Shoppers Drug Mart lady, I think, in trouble. I may, right? Because their supervisor was there and I had to say something to the supervisor because this woman rolled her eyes at me, right? And here I was just talking about all these big companies and how they're very conscious and how they're really up on customer service and talking about how you treat your coworkers and how to have good etiquette and respect other people's cultures and values and stuff like this. And here I was talking about that in my life, and then I go to Shoppers Drug Mart, and I made a mistake. It was my fault, but she just looked at me and she literally rolled her eyes up like I was the biggest inconvenience and the biggest idiot ever. And I looked at her and I never said anything. And then another lady came out of the back room and said, I can help you over here. So I went over there and I just said, I'm really sorry that you have to repunch this back in because I was at a self-serve station. I had to come back around. Sorry, yeah, you had to repunch this back in. That was totally my fault, right? But yeah, it made me feel bad when, I got the eyes rolled at me for it, so I know when I left it and a woman was a supervisor or something that this other woman would have gotten a little bit of a talking to. But the thing is, if she was doing that to me, she was doing that to other people. And sometimes you only need to have it brought to your attention. Maybe having me say that, right? Because she was standing next to the supervisor when I said that. I'm not somebody who goes behind people's backs or anything like that, right? I just wanted to make a point, and it was a lesson. It was not to be unkind. It was a lesson, right? Because I'm hoping that she's not going to do that to somebody else, right? Right? Because it wasn't nice, right? I didn't think it wasn't nice. And I am a little bit of an advocate when I think somebody's being unkind. And it was kind of neat because I thought that person that was being not treated well was me, right? And I decided not to turn the other cheek. I didn't get into an argument or anything, right? But I needed to make sure that they know. to say that this wasn't the first time with this woman, right? That she had done this abruptness with me before in this store. So yeah. But you can see it's on my mind, right? I feel guilty and that shame is still coming up. But that's the empath part of me. That's me putting myself in her shoes and realizing she feels bad because she got in trouble. She feels um, chastised a little bit, maybe, right? She probably feels a little bit of anger or resentment to me. And if I go in there and she's working again, she'll probably be very courteous, but she'll remember, right? Because we never remember the kind things that are said. We never remember all the compliments and stuff. But if somebody says something unkind, don't we always remember that? Don't we? And not unkind, because I wasn't unkind, but that makes you feel bad, right? That makes you question yourself and stuff. So yeah, but it's on my mind. So I know I feel bad about it. There's no making up for it, and I don't think I should. And I think I've done some good in the end. She might have bit off somebody's head that wasn't going to take that and decided to do something about it. Really scary. Or she would have done that to somebody and really emotionally hurt somebody, right? Or she might have hurt herself by doing that and then having a supervisor hear that and then she doesn't have a job, right? A pink Power Ranger painting. What are you talking about, dear? I'm missing these great conversations that you guys are having without me. Kathy colors and draws too, right? I actually have one of Kathy's colorings here. She mailed it off to me from Nova Scotia. I didn't even show you guys my project. I'll show you because my chair is blocking it up here. But I want to show you this this jar that I made for my trip to Thunder Bay. Yes, it's like a lamp, you guys. Look at. I'll get up really close to the camera. These are rocks and pebbles. See my little shovel from look at all the sparkly amethyst in there. See how everything is sparkling? Everything is sparkling in there. Do you like the bowl? And then I put my string lights in there too, right? And then it just has a little switch here. Boom. And then it's off. Look at it's just my big bowl of amethyst rocks that I filled up, right? So I thought that was one of the things I worked on today. I worked on that this afternoon, but I thought I'd show everybody. But it's like a little lamp. Isn't that bright? Isn't that lovely? And then my little shovel. Yeah, so I love that. And then I just have it sitting right here. There we go. It actually looks very nice there. It adds a little bit of ambiance to my apartment, doesn't it? Yeah. I think I do have to declutter. I had a conversation this week with one of my followers on my Instagram, right? And he doesn't like clutter and stuff. And I look around and I have a lot of smalls. I like smalls. And I get smalls really cheap. And when I talk about smalls, I'll show you some of this stuff. And just again, just so you can see my beautiful crystal, you guys. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love pulling it out and taking a look at it and look at it all. Just sparkly. I just love it. It just sits here on my desk. But for smalls, I'm just gonna just pull a couple of these ones here that I have. Oh, and I got Buddhas and I got frogs and yeah, so I got little things like this, right? Little Buddhas. I got a turtles and I got a little frog here. Got my fairies, right? This is stuff that I collect, little smalls and things, right? But I have a ton of them, but I get them so inexpensively. It's hard for me to say it's hard for me to say no when they come up and they're only like 25 cents or 50 cents. And then I instantly fall in love with them and then I have to have them. But when I bring them home, they clutter. They do clutter. I have a pin board with all my earrings on it. It's just stuffed full. I need a bigger board because I have more earrings. My bracelets are absolutely everywhere. So I'm trying not to buy any more bracelets anymore. I'm not doing a very good job on that. And I did cut back on my staff charges and stuff for my trip when I went to Thunder Bay. I was kind of hoping we were going to stay on that trend, right? Because Cindy's going for a vehicle for March 1st, right? So, but this will be the last time. Then we'll start really buckling down, right? We'll really start buckling down and try and do a little bit better. I've got a pension kicking in, you guys. I'm going to be 60 years old in less than 2 weeks. In less than 2 weeks. Incredible. And I have a pension coming in. So this is really good. No matter what, at least I know that I'll have, at the very least, this apartment over my head, right? You know, um, I'm really grateful. It's unfortunate. I woke up to this so late that I'm treading water, but I trust, right? And I'm still going for it all. But I just look at where I am now, where I could have been, places where I could have made better choices, places where I did make better choices. And I think some of those better choices that I made are happening right in this span of time that I'm living in and existing in right now. So I'm pretty good with where my life is. I'm just gonna take a look at some of these comments and see how everybody is doing. Oh, your books, Andrew. Yeah, I ended up. I don't know how it worked out that way, but on paydays, I always pick up one or two books, especially when they're in the field of what I like to study. Right. So this book, Children Learn What They Live. Right. This is totally pertinent to what I'm studying because I'm working at being able to help people work through their trauma, whether they're children, whether they're teenagers, whether they're young adults. And some of the most difficult people who suffer with trauma are the more mature adults because they carried that trauma their entire lives. And when they held on to that trauma, it kind of dragged them down. It stole their dreams. It stole their life, right? And right. And I know this from my own experience of waking up to all of this. Not even 10 years ago. It was 2019. No, 2017. Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea. I know it's been really, really fast in any case. Aw. You knew that one was from that movie? Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. I like that movie. It was entertaining, right? It was an entertaining movie. Yeah, but I know what you mean there, Andrew, because I've got so many books here. I got this one, 10 Simple Solutions for Building Self-Esteem. Eat mindfully, because I'm trying to get a control of my eating habits because I think that's part of my family's biggest what do you call that, limiting beliefs, no, coping mechanisms. It's one of our biggest coping mechanisms in my family is that we overeat. We're a bunch of gluttons and we've always struggled with our weight. Everybody, well, my mother, I don't know. My parents really didn't struggle with their weight. They were never really overweight, but I had great uncles, I had grandmothers, right? And I have a nephew who's it's still very prevalent in my family. I have the happiness trap. Look at this. It's all sociology. And I actually have a big university binder right here. And it's a university workbook on sociology, right? This one, listen, love, repeat, right? But all of this is helping to better make it so that I can understand how human emotions work, how our interactions with each other rub us the right way and rub us the wrong way, right? How to better cope with people who don't think like us, even within our own families, right? That we butt heads with people in our own families because we just don't see eye to eye because we're just such different people with different ideas. And that's a good thing. There is nothing absolutely wrong with that. But sometimes, when you have a family that butts heads with you like that, there can be a lot of guilt and shame like that because you're trying to go off, you're trying to do your own thing, you're trying to be your own person, right? That's exactly what happened to me. I just wanted to live my own life. I wanted to do things that I thought was interesting and do things that I thought that I could help, in a little bit, right? And they say it's, purpose comes from your pain, right? Wonderful. I have their emails, dear. I have their emails, so I'll send that to Owen and Andrew, and yeah, I'll send it to the guys. I'll send it to Kathy too, dear. Yeah, I've got it here. I've got it here. I'm just going to save that. I like these buttons that they give us. Pin. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay, it's going to let me pin it, but then everybody's going to get to see your email, and I don't want everybody to see your email because you never know who's going to pop into your into your feed, right? Then you end up with a whole bunch of people that you never knew trying to get to know you, right? But yeah, I'll make sure I'll make sure I make a note on that one for sure. And whoops, I'm trying to find a spot. My desk is so cluttered right now, just only because I've got hands full of books. But again, Andrew, I've got so much here and all different topics. I even got a book on evolution here, right? The Darwin Awards, on evolution. Happiness is a choice. This one is more Christian based. And because I'm trying to better understand different religions, I thought that would be a good way to start. Now I've got all the chicken soups for the soul, I think. They've got them for everybody, men, women, pets, preteens, teenagers. They've got them all, and they're very, very useful, very, very good books. But I've got a couple that I wanted to really wanted to read, and they came into the store last week. So I said, mine. Yeah. So I've got some things to pay for on payday, but I'll be happy to have them, and they're helping me a lot, right? And the more we could get Cindy up to par, right? The more use she's going to be along the road, like definitely. Yeah, like I said, prices have gone up in the grocery store, and it makes me worried to see things like that happen. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to how they're hiking up the rent, what the government is doing to help small business stay on their feet. Like pay attention to the money, where the money's going, how it's being spent, how it's being divvied out, what charities are getting funded, what charities are not getting funded. It's going to give us a pretty good indication of where we're going, and we'll be better to prepare for it. I haven't prepared at all. I got a bunch of books that I know have to come with me if the grid goes down. So, and I have a sled. I have. Oh, I'm good to go. I for sure am good to go. Throw me in a pair of snow pants. Load up my backpack with my safety bag, and my food. Right. Throw on my snowshoes. Grab my sled, and off I go. I'll be perfectly fine. And living here in Manitoba, I'm quite used to that cold weather. We could go back to the ice age, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. Okay, now here goes William. You guys keep in mind, you guys, that when you add your emails, that anybody can see those emails, right? It's really lovely that you're making friends that way, but I just want to keep that in mind, you guys, that when you do it that way, I have a lot of my followers here. I do have their email, so if you just want to message me and give me your email, I can make sure, and you can just let me know who you want it to go to. I'm happy to do that too, right? I'm happy to do that too. It's important for us to stay safe, right? It's important for us all to stay safe. But we know William. He's a little. He loves his social. He loves his social. He's a very popular guy, right? Yeah. How's your niece doing, or your goddaughter doing, William? Is she doing well? You haven't talked about her lately. I hope she's doing well. I hope her family's doing well. Let me know. Did they any of them get the virus? Your goddaughter and her family, or did they get through it okay? And how's your pastor doing? You said your pastor was in a bad way. Yeah, you said that your pastor was in a bad way, and you were helping your pastor out, William. So I would be interested to know how he's doing well. I'm looking at the numbers here in Manitoba. The numbers are increasing a little bit. We don't have a lot of people that aren't vaccinated yet, but we still have people who aren't vaccinated, and those numbers are increasing a little bit. And we're starting to struggle a little bit in the healthcare again. I Like I said, this is going to be around for a very long time. I plan on just being careful, and because I am on my own for the most part, right? So I'm not coming into contact with a lot of different people that would have that opportunity to get me sick. Even at my work, we have a barrier. We wear our masks, right? We're pretty safe at work. Yeah, and sanitizer. And for the most part, the customers are really good too, right? Still coming in, still sanitizing, still wearing their masks. Everybody, right? Everybody's doing their part. Wait, if we get out of this, perfect, right? We came out of it together, but we'll go down together just as easily as we'll pull ourselves up together too, right? So I would much rather I would much rather that we all take this journey together, and not come out any worse for wear, right? People are really starting to struggle right now, right? People don't know what's going on, but none of us know what's going to be going on. This is all brand new, right? And we all have to make the best judgments and best choices as they become available for us to choose from, right? Opportunities come around, then we want to jump on those opportunities, right? Because you guys are important. You guys are definitely important, and you have to take care of yourself. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry to hear about that, dear. And yeah, I hope her family is going to manage to get through this okay. That must be just devastating, just heartbreaking. I couldn't imagine the doctor or the nurse that would have that conversation with those parents. I admire you. You do a great service to your own emotional well-being. I can't imagine how these kind of things affect you, right? And Yeah. So we keep it light here, right? Keep it light here because this is a place for you to unwind and escape, right? To know that there's something better come along, that it's not going to be like this forever, no matter what, right? You can imagine we're just taking care of the people that come across our paths. If we have the opportunity, if we have are capable of, if it's not going to drag us down, if it's not going to, right, we're not going to drown because we have to take care of ourselves, right? We can't feel guilt and shame about that. But at the same time, if we can help people, if we can cheer people up, if we can hold somebody's hand through a difficult time, right? Just sit there and shine, right? And just let people know that it's going to be okay because it is going to be okay. The Doobie Brothers. You're going to see the Doobie Brothers? Are you kidding me? That sounds like so much fun, dear. Oh my goodness. Perfect. Oh, good, William. That's really good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, well, when it says that the vaccination, they say that there's something about it if you've got the COVID naturally and you built up proteins that you shouldn't take the vaccine because it counteracts something. Yeah, that's what I heard. Something I was talking to a nurse, but I talked to lots of nurses and lots of doctors, and they have just as many different opinions as anybody else, right? So I listen. I try not to take that information in, and I'm actually sorry that I even mentioned it and brought it up because I'm not that person usually. I listen, but I usually won't pass that along because I would hate to pass on any wrong information, and because I don't make it a point to be up to date on this kind of stuff, that I am certainly no expert and not somebody that anybody should listen to when it comes to talking about it, right? Unless it's about the emotional part of it, right? How it breaks us down emotionally, how I was talking about, this young lady who passed away, 9 years old, how heartbreaking, but how her parents must feel, how this is going to impact them, how it's going to change the experience of their marriage, because it will affect their marriage. It might make that marriage stronger. It might make them closer to each other. But at the same time, lots of marriages fall apart because that reminder of looking at your spouse and seeing a child is difficult too. Can be heartbreaking and can be enough to make you want to pull yourself away a little bit, right? It has to be soon. I can't imagine. The Spanish flu was only around for 18 months and none of us had vaccination. And it was 6% mortality rate with the Spanish flu. Like, how did it just disappear like that with nothing? At the very least, while there might not have been, or they may have been variants, but again, like, who am I to say? Like, again, I'm not an expert on any of this. I know a lot of you have more experience when it comes to that virus than I could even possibly think to have. Look how much earthenware I have. I have so much stoneware. I put it up for sale, guys. I put it up for sale. I had no choice. I got so much of it. I actually have a fireplace right here. And I started, well, I put my best pieces, except for this one. This is my best piece on the shelf. I just love this piece. It's a birch tree trunk, and done in earthenware, and it's the texture of it, the color of it is just beautiful. But I thought it has to go in order for this display to sell. That would have to be, because that would almost be the value of what I'm asking for it, right? So we'll see. We'll see if we can sell this thing. I'll put some of that money towards my bills. I'll put some of that money towards the vehicle, right? And then I could move my collection, my new start to the collection, onto the shelf again when we start all over again, right? But now I'll be a little bit more pickier, choose it. I got some beautiful pieces. I mean, I have some beautiful pieces. Even that birch log one is worth $400. This one here is worth $400. I think I only paid like $7 for it or something when it came in. Yeah, a couple of my platters are really quite pricey, but right, but it has to take a certain person to want this. I thought maybe a restaurant or a business might want my collection. And then I thought, well, if I move from the city and move to a different city or something, it would be really nice if I could just donate it to my boss for her display window for her Chinese auction at the end of the month, right? So that I bet you she'd be able to pull in a pretty penny with that. Yeah, I'm going to bid on one of those auctions. I've never bid on one of those auctions before, but I think I'm going to bid $70 for a Buddha collection. How many Buddhas do I have? One, two, three, four, five Buddhas. I have five Buddhas. But this collection that I'm looking at, I think is another seven Buddhas. But these are big Buddhas. Like there is one garden Buddha. There is one what do they call that wood that's fossilized that soaks up the water and it turns black? Ebonized wood, is that what it's called? Ebonized wood? Let me know, Andrew. I know Andrew has the answer to that one. I think, is it ebonized wood? No, it's not ebonized wood. But it's really, really dark wood, and it's because it's ancient and stuff, right? But the Buddha's made out of that. And then there are a couple of clay ones. So I'm pretty excited. I think I'll win that. I'm going to bid a little bit higher, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. But I have to bid on them. I said I was going to bid on an auction. So this will be the one auction I will bid on, right? And I'll win my Buddhas because it goes with my Mother Nature wall. And I don't know why all these different religions and all these different mystical kind of creatures end up. Oh, and reptiles, because I do frogs, turtles, dragonflies, um, fossils, right? Yeah, my crystal. Oh, I got so much smalls. I do have to declutter. But I am symmetrical. You guys can't say that I'm not symmetrical in my decorating, right? Everything has its place, but I do have an awful lot. I do realize that I have an awful lot. If I seem a little spinny today, that's because I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I started giving her right off the hop. I was dangling outside my window in this high rise with my mop, cleaning my windows. I had like dish soap on the mop, and because I thought because it was raining outside, the rain would help to clean my windows. And this way, this winter, they'll be nice and clear for me to see the beautiful snow and the storms and stuff. Yeah, I like winter storms too. I like winter storms too. Let's see what everybody's yapping about. And you're right, William. You're 100% right. And it's going to be really hard. Like people are thinking that this world is going to go back to normal, and it never will. We are now in a digital age, people. We need to be more proficient when it comes to working in the digital age, when it comes to our phones, when it comes to our social media and our branding, right? Most jobs will be online. 100% this next generation coming up, most of them will be online making their livings, right? I mean, there'll still always be needs for restaurants, but even when it comes to restaurants, they got things like skip the dishes and stuff where they, right, you get your restaurant food delivered right to your door. I went visiting my niece and my sister last week, and I walked into their apartment at the same time skip the dishes come, and she had ordered McDonald's, right? They delivered McDonald's to her apartment. I was just like, right. half the enjoyment of going out to the restaurant is going out to the restaurant. That experience of going to a restaurant. I remember when I was a young kid, my dad used to date me on Saturday nights, right? And we'd dress up in our best clothes and he would take me out to a fancy restaurant. We'd have really nice time. But it was the experience of the restaurant, not necessarily the food, because I basically ate the same thing every time we went to a fancy restaurant. I was always having veal cutlets, right? I haven't had veal cutlets in a year because I finally realized what veal was. So I don't eat much red meat at all. I don't eat much meat, period, at all, except for maybe hamburger, wieners, sausages, right? Things that are processed. I'm not turkey meat. I'll eat turkey meat, but yeah, I a steak. I haven't had a steak since I was a little kid, and that's the truth. I don't like anything that looks like it might have been alive, right? And I understand that, if it's sitting in Safeway, it's already gone, so it doesn't make a difference whether I eat it or not. But I just physically can't bring myself to eat it. I'm not a vegetarian. It's not my intent to be a vegetarian, but maybe spiritually there is something in me that says, Cindy, you don't want to eat meat anymore, right? Just like I don't want to go fishing anymore. I don't want to go fishing anymore. I don't want to kill fish, right? Even though I can like catch it and release it. And I love the experience of being on a boat and out in the water and casting my line and the excitement of catching a fish. But that heartbreak of actually being responsible for a fish dying, I can deal with that. It just seems a little bit cruel to me in all actuality, right? So yeah, I guess there may come a point where I'll give up meat completely. It's quite possible that we are moving in that direction, but at the same time as saying that, we understand being able to eat that way can be very expensive, right? Eating healthy is expensive. Yeah. I love grapes. I love pears. I love fruit, period. I love fruit, right? But if you actually think about it, a tub of ice cream, how much fruit you could get for the amount that it would cost you to buy you a tub of ice cream? And then the fruit, I'm sure, would last you much longer than the ice cream would, wouldn't it? I think so. It's a lot better, William. I agree. Things are a lot better, slowly getting better. But I'm again, it's got to be teamwork. We all have to pitch in and do whatever we can to help to make that recovery a little bit better. Just seems to me that everybody's out there holding their hands out, hoping that somebody's going to come along or the government's going to come along and just bail them out of this, right? I'm stuck too. My credit cards are crazy max. Actually, one of my credit cards was just totally taken away from me, right? So I've got my own financial struggles on that. But the thing is, I'm going to take responsibility for that, and I'm making it a priority this year to do a little bit better by my finances. Now I'm working on this vehicle, but in the new year, for sure, 100%, we're going to see what we can do about paying off that debt on my credit cards, right? And there are people who have hundreds of thousands of dollars in debts, So for me, who might be $10,000, right, in debt, that's nothing compared to some people, right? That's just pocket change to some people. But again, we can't compare our lives to other people's lives too, because right, even though they make more money, right? They work harder, they have bigger responsibilities, bigger stresses, right? Bigger problems, bigger problems to sort out. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so it was interesting to even think, and I thought, oh, well, I'll just say Happy Thanksgiving when I come in today. But then I realized, no, 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 the Americans, they do Thanksgiving in November. I think it's around Christmas, the 25th, like to say a month, almost a month exactly behind Christmas, right? I'm not quite sure about that, but I think so. And I think it's kind of neat because it makes it so that you can hit both sides of a family too. Because I notice quite often, especially in the movies and stuff, where they'll do one side of the family at Christmas, and then the next side of the family will be done on Thanksgiving, and then they alternate back between the holidays, right? 55 million dollars. Oh my goodness. That is really big, Andrew. That's right. That's really big. And that's stress, right? So when I talk about emotional stress, when I talk about, these traumas that we go through, these traumas are not just from our childhood. These are compounded so that it gets to the point where every single catastrophe that happens to our life is just being piled on top, like toppings on a Sunday when it comes to our problems, right? Yeah, that's really really sad to hear. And yeah, and what they're doing with boasting the idea of what's going on, they're making it sound like there's a great big real estate boom going on out in the world right now, but in actuality, there's a boom going on right now because everybody's scared, everybody's worried about what's going to happen with their property and how they're going to catch up on their debt. So their people are selling their second homes, they're selling their second cars, or they're downsizing their homes completely, right? Maybe some of the kids aren't going to get to go to college, right? We don't know. Oh, Sharon's here too. Hi, Dave. Oh, and Dave's here too. Awesome. But yeah, what's the date on your Thanksgiving, Andrew? I can't remember what it is. It may be like the same time as Christmas. It seemed to me around the same time, but the month before. But I do know it's in November. I don't know. I think it's shortly after our Remembrance Day. Here in Canada, our Remembrance Day is on November 11th. And the only reason I remember that is because that's the same day as when my mother died, right? And when did my mother pass away? It's been a while now. 2011, 2013. Not quite sure. But yeah, November 11th, 11/11. My mother passed away, right? Serendipities. It's all about the serendipities. And I do believe a lot of this, what's going down is hereditary. It's epigenetics. It's inherited, right? So as much as the gifts are passed down, right? The difficulties I expect are passed down too. And I've actually been witness to that too in my own family, right? Oh, I see. Wow. Yeah, I can you have to. You have no choice but right to try and get people committed to their homes because here in Manitoba, the government throughout the coronavirus was helping to support business, right? So people who were working were having their wages covered 75% by the government, and so people were actually hiring people because they were discounted by 75%. Why not, right? And so they did a lot of construction. Their construction went all winter last year and also tons of construction, new construction going on. But who's going to be able to afford it? Who's going to be able to move into these homes? A lot of this construction is actually stopped in mid, right? Without just stopped right when it was started, and these buildings are half finished and they're just going to rot away, right? And you're right. You're right, William. You're being a brainiac today. Oh, really? First World War. So I wonder, wouldn't that be curious if 11/11, right? November 11th, um, the coronavirus ended this year. Wouldn't that be kind of a coincidence? A little bit of serendipity there, right? Because it has been like a war the past couple of years. And even though I do believe that real wars, they're coming to an end, we're more concerned with saving the world now than we are about protecting a small country and isolating ourselves or separating ourselves from the rest of the world. I feel so bad for the North Koreans, how much they're missing the beauty and the wonder of this entire world. Like, they don't get to go on holidays, and right, they don't get to see how the other part of the world lives, and they're so isolated, right? So how do they move forward? They don't even have internet, I heard, in North Korea. How do they move forward, right? But I do know some communities are moving forward, so I shouldn't say that, because I know for sure the Hutterite colonies are going to be moving forward, right? The Mennonites are going to be moving forward. The Amish are going to be moving forward. I think in some ways they were really quite smart about locking down their community the way they did. It's hard because they're not going to advance in the digital age, so they may be looked at as a little bit old fashioned, but at the same time, I think it's going to be very attractive, that way of living to people. I find it very attractive, that way of living myself, 100%. 35? You didn't look old enough to have a child of 35, Sharon. Holy moly. And actually, one of the maids of honor of my wedding, her daughter, I remember when her daughter was born, and I could just hold her in the palm of my hand. And then last week she came into the store and she had her own very own baby. I thought, oh my goodness, right? Time does move fast. It really, really, really does move fast. Right? Moves fast while you're having fun. Moves fast when you're not having fun. So keep that in mind too. The pain isn't always forever, 100%. Yeah. Oh, happy birthday to your mother, William. I know you loved your mother. You've talked about her many, many times. I myself, I'm going to be 60 this month, and still I don't feel it. I don't, if I had to say how I feel, I would say 30 years old, just because I do look older, but I don't feel it. I don't feel 60 in any way. Lots of people, I look out my window, and because I live in one of these 55 plus apartment blocks, high rises, there are lots and lots of people in this building, all over 55. And I see them walking outside, and they have walkers, and these are men and women my age, and they can barely walk. And I look at them and I go, they're hurting so bad. Like, I never ever had to suffer like that. I can feel in my body right now, it's probably never going to be that way. Even though today, when I went to the store, I went to Shoppers, I had to buy a case of water, right? I'm not drinking enough water. And I think that's what woke me up last night, and why I got up so early, is because Charlie horses are waking me up in the night because I'm not drinking enough water. I have to stay truly hydrated. So I loaded up the fridge. Got a case of water. I loaded up the fridge. So So I'll make sure that every night before I go to bed that I have a bottle of water. I have a really good bladder. I'm not worried about it. I'll sleep right through the night, especially if I don't have any Charlie horses. But I noticed a couple of times in the past week or so that I was getting up at the night because yeah, my legs were twisting around a little bit from the Charlie horses. Not complaining in any way, right? Taking note, but also making sure that I'm doing little things that might help. And I thought, if I got some water and started drinking a little bit more water, and also I pulled something else out. I don't know if any of you guys use these. This is an iron treatment, iron therapy. Comes 30 capsules. Um, it's not by prescription. You can get these, but you have to ask the pharmacist for them because they keep them behind the counter because they are high potency iron pills, right? And they reoxygenize the blood. So when I don't eat a lot of meat, and we talked about this a little bit when I came in tonight, that I don't eat a lot of meat, that I'll do a treatment of these. And when I say I do a treatment, it's like for a week, I'll take these iron pills, right? And then the next week, I'll take fiber pills, right? And then I have my multivitamins, but I haven't been taking those either, right? So I want to make sure that I start taking care of myself because I used to take care of myself all the time. And I shouldn't say I don't take care of myself, but it has been sporadic, and I haven't been in the past couple of months. I've really been enjoying my summer and not focusing on taking vitamins and minerals, but at the same time, I'm still not eating good. I'm still eating junk. So at the very least, I'd like to oxygenize my blood, get that red blood cell count up really good, get my blood cells full of oxygen. And yeah, this is really good. You only do it for a week or two, only because it's very acidic, right? So if you have ulcers, this is why I take this pill right before I go to bed because then I don't notice the acidity, how acidic it is when I'm in my sleep, right? Otherwise, I'd end up probably have heartburn all day if I were to take this in the morning, right? Just because it is very acidic. But yeah, I do want to start taking better care of myself, and that's why I have this stuff on my desk to remind me. Everything is a reminder, right? Everything is a reminder to trigger me into what I need to get done. Also, I'm back into the real estate magazines. I haven't grabbed these. Remember last year I was collecting these and I would like have these dreams about my own piece of land out around Osterfield. I really, really like, like road 302, 320. I love that not Steinbach area, but more the Woodridge area here in Manitoba. It's very wilderness. Not a lot of homeowners out there. You can get some really nice land out there, close to like even crown land, so you don't even have neighbors, right? You have a little lot and something like that. So I've been looking at the rural land and the rural housing, and yeah, rural housing right here, right where I opened it up, and just keeping my eye out. Not like I'd ever have the opportunity. Well, I'm not going to say that because I don't say that because you never know. You leave yourself open. You leave yourself open, and possibilities come across your path. Opportunities come across your path. You never know. Somebody might have some land and say, "Hey, Cindy, sweat equity. Do you want it?" And I'd be all over it in a minute. I would be all over it in a minute, 100. And wouldn't I be making some good videos on that one for sure? I do have a couple of short videos for my trip to Thunder Bay. I'll make sure that I get those uploaded tomorrow. I think they're only 5 or 6 minutes each. But I'll upload those because I wanted you to guys really get a feel of what an amazing trip that I had. It was really energizing. It was just what I needed. It gave me the gumption, right? Which I needed just to keep going. You had your rest, Cindy. Relax. You're good for another year. Go, go, go. right? With a few reminders, just not to have to push myself so hard. But how can you not help it, right? When you could see the possibilities out there, right? There's so many things that I want to do, so many things I want to experience, so many things that I want to do that takes a vehicle that needs me to get back on the road and get out there and exploring and, right, expanding my mind even more and just catch up on some of those things that I maybe have thought I missed out on my life, right? And discover whether or not I really wanted them, or was it something somebody else wanted or something somebody else had and I only wanted it for myself because they had it for themselves. We do that a lot too, right? And I know I did that myself. Me, I'm pretty content with the life that I have right now, but contentment is can be an enemy, right? We have to have a hunger for something better. And because I believe that it's about our movement forward, because I believe that it's about evolution, right? That it's about advancing. And I know I could see you guys. I could see your souls. I know that every book you pick up, every video you watch, every relationship that you have is a lesson in your life, right? And it advances your soul. And I'm just grateful to be here on Sunday night and kind of hang out with you guys, listen to the conversations. Right? Quite interesting. And I appreciate that you guys all all shared. And I do want to mention, because I can see that Angry Birds is not here tonight, right? And I'm not somebody who likes to talk about anybody when they're not here, but I don't think he would mind. But I would like to thank Andrew, number one, for that amazing inclusion that you do with Angry Birds, right? He's a conversationalist of a different kind. For those of you guys who come and hang out with us on Sunday nights and you see Angry Birds in the conversation, right? And you could see he's a different kind of bird. Angry Birds, get it? Different kind of bird, right? But I love it that you include him, right? And I've noticed that his conversations have been become more stable and more uh, focused, right? The information, like even I'm starting to follow in on his conversation, and it takes a while. It takes all kinds to make the world, you guys. And I just wanted to say how thankful I am that I have such an amazing, amazing crew that welcome everybody here, no matter what your personality is like, no matter what your political views are, what your religious views are, what your culture is, that you guys just come in here on Sunday night and just hang out, right? And you accept everybody for their beauties and their flaws, right? And we all have them 100%. We all have them. But I didn't want to say anything while we're having busy conversations because nobody wants to be the focus of those conversations. But he found us for a reason. I truly believe that Angry Birds popped into our lives on Sunday nights for a reason. I appreciate so much that Andrew has enveloped him and shared in the conversation and made him feel welcomed, right? And I appreciate all you guys reading over the comments and filtering that out, right? To be able to be included yourself in those conversations. So I just wanted to take that opportunity. I saw he wasn't here. I saw he wasn't here tonight, and I really do love him. I really do believe that he was meant to hang out with this. I really do that. And I think everybody, right? I want everybody who feels that they have a want to be here, right? That they feel that our crew is the crew to hang out with, right? I really think that it's important that anybody should feel welcomed when they come into my live show on Sunday night. And I just wanted to acknowledge all you guys for making each other feel comfortable and for actually treating each other, right? And getting to know each other online and making friends like this and having conversations. And I don't know. I try hard to stay in touch with the conversations, but sometimes I get wrapped up in my own conversations and I miss out on what you guys are talking about, right? Right? But I do pop in and I try and go over. Take care, and if Sharon pops back in later on to watch the end of the live, take care, dear. I always appreciate when Sharon pops in. I went for a walk and I could smell that rotting leaves. And when I said I forgot to tell her while she was here, I was smelling those rotting leaves of fall. And it reminds me of the walks that me and Sharon took. I think of Sharon when I go for my walks now during the course of fall because of the smell of the rotting leaves, right? And it brings into mind because she was up here in fall too, here in Winnipeg with me, and I guess somehow it clicked, and now the smell of the rotting leaves reminds me of her, right? Yeah. I'm looking forward to more visitors. I'm looking forward to doing some visiting myself. I've already started and I've made a commitment that I'm going to be going to Arkansas next year if it's all good and we can get across the border. We're going to overcome the obstacles. Things always move for me, right? If I set a plan and a goal, it works out, right? And I committed already that we're going to go to Arkansas. I actually had to look it up on a map to see where Arkansas was. But I'm going to do a little bit more mining. I don't think I am done with the mining. I don't think I am done with amethyst. I don't think I am done with other rock hounding, and I'm curious to see where this is going to lead me. Now, I understand a lot of this is the interactions that I have with people in my trips. I do understand that when I go to a gas station, when I stop in a park and I have conversations, I know when I'm out and about that whoever or whatever is going to bring people across my paths to have a conversation or an interaction with. So I'm not disillusioned that that's not happening, because I do know that that does happen. So I know the trip is just not to go down there and dig for amethyst and have a grand old time, but it's what I love, right? I'm doing what I love, right? So at the same time, why not? Why not have a good time doing something that I love? And then possibly, right? If I play my cards properly, if I take my lessons in, if I stay consistent, right? If I can build trust and friendships like we do here on Sunday nights, right? You never know where this could all lead to. You have no idea. And you guys, right? And it's not like I'm going to leave you behind. You all get to come along for the ride, right? Just like my sisters, right? And then they can never, ever, ever say, told you so, right? Because they're all waiting for me to fail. No, they're not all waiting for me to fail. I think they're more wondering when it's going to happen now, just like myself, right? But we keep hacking away at it, and yeah, slowly but surely we move forward, right? Yeah. I guess you guys, that's it for tonight. Um, wow. So you were over in the iron that you had in your life? Really, really high. I know these ones that I'm taking are about 2,400, and I'll be taking two a day for about a week before I stop. But I have the abs. I have the opposite. I get anemic because I don't get enough protein into my system, Dave. So yeah, is that up there? But I do know too much red blood cells can be just as dangerous as not having enough uh, red blood cells, right? Because then you would have more white blood cells. And I think that's where other diseases come from, right? But again, I'm not an expert in those things either. Okay, everybody, that's it for this week. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. I think I'm pretty close to being done with my day. I'm going to make myself another cup of coffee. I'm going to get into my pajamas. I'm going to maybe watch a couple of lessons, maybe a couple of relaxing metal detecting videos or something before I head off today. And if you guys want to come hang out with me tomorrow, I'll be going live 11 a.m. Central on Instagram. So you'll find me on Instagram. I go live every single morning there on Instagram. And yeah, we have a great crew over there too. Nothing like my YouTube crew, right? Very, very partial to my YouTube crew. Yeah. But we interact differently here than how we interact on my Instagram too, right? It's a little bit different format, but it's starting to meld a little bit better together. Okay, so tomorrow the plan is to get those last couple of videos from my trip up so you guys can catch those couple of little insights that I had. Don't mind too much about the filming. Next time I'll remember light in the front of me, sun in the front of me, not behind me. Don't read anything into it. It was just the way it was filmed, right? But the message was good. I know the message was good. Okay, everybody. You have a great night, and we'll see you next Sunday.